What's up, guys? I'm recording. It's Wednesday in 6th period. It is Wednesday, right? I don't even know anymore. We're going to have a next assignment, and it's going to be another thing to look out on your poem. It's not a new poem. It's just a new angle to edit the one you have, or to think about why you have the one you have the way you do. We've talked about line endings. We talked about rhyme. And another really core element that poems are based on is division into stanzas. You could have a poem that's one big blob, no division. You could have a poem that's regular chunks of 3 lines, 3 lines, 3 lines, or 4, 4, 4. That's the most common. It's called a quatrain when you have 4 lines in one chunk. Or you could just break whenever you feel like it. The rattlesnake poem we read a few weeks ago has a couple lines, break, has a couple more. It's not the same amount. They're not even. I think the top stanza has more lines. But it's not based on any pattern. It's just that's where it makes sense. Kind of like starting a new paragraph. So that's another key element of choosing to make your poem feel a certain way or move at a certain speed. You know, if you have every line standing alone with the break, then it feels like they're real, punchy, one thing, cut, another thing, cut, sort of like editing in a movie. And if you have them all in one, it feels more like they're all thrown together, like it's a one-take shot with no edits. Doesn't mean one is better than the other. It just depends on what rhythm and mood you're trying to set. So this assignment, it doesn't have to change what you have. You might once you start thinking about it, but the assignment is to write what kind of stanzas you have. Are they regular? Are they broken into whenever a rhyme comes, or whenever the topic changes, or whenever you hit a certain number? Or is there another reason? Explain why. Give a little, here's what I did, here's why. That kind of thing. A little short answer. Now, since I do a poem every time, I'll do another. And this is another poem from W.H. Auden. You might remember I read one of his last week, I think. It was called Funeral Blues. And that one had someone mourning a death, and they said, the whole universe is going to stop for me. The stars can be put out. Okay, the music will stop. The ocean can be just poured away. We don't care about it anymore. It's sort of like the emotions of one person are just affecting everything, and it's almost like the universe cares, like it's helping out, like it's sort of standing back to let you do your thing. This one is kind of the opposite, which is why I thought of it. So this poem is called The More Loving One. Again, it's by W.H. Auden. And on today's topic, it's in quatrains, groups of 4. Looking up at the stars, I know quite well that for all they care, I can go to hell. But on earth, indifference is the least we have to dread from man or beast. How should we like it, were stars to burn with a passion for us we could not return? If equal affection cannot be, let the more loving one be me. Admirer as I think I am, of stars that do not give a damn, I cannot, now I see them, say, I missed one terribly all day. Were all stars to disappear or die, I should learn to look at an empty sky and feel its total dark sublime, though this might take me a little time. That's it. It's a nice short one. I guess 16 lines because it's 4 by 4. And I like that because it sort of has the opposite message of Funeral Blues and the opposite message of a lot of poems. This one says, the stars, the universe, the sky, they don't care. If there's going to be any meaning here, it has to come from me. And if I love them, then that's what matters, which is kind of a different angle. And it's really good for you to think that way in your poem. You don't want to start with the big stuff and zoom in. You want to start with the small stuff. And if you want to zoom out later, that's fine. But the small stuff, the little guy in the gutter, the underdog, that's what matters. Every time I stop one of these